In all the case studies we covered so far, we looked at some typical and likely ethics in decision making issues involving AI. Now, I want to explore a recent case study that highlights a very different concern about safety and ethics related to AI. This 2024 tragedy was covered extensively by news media, and many of you may be familiar with it. Sewell Setzer, a 14-year-old teen from Florida, was navigating the complexities of adolescence. He was also managing mild Asperger's syndrome and some anxiety and mood issues. Sewell had spent several months engaging with chatbots on a platform called Character AI. This platform lets users create and interact with different AI characters, offering a range of different personalities and customization options. Sewell became particularly attached to a chatbot named Dany, inspired by Daenerys Targaryen from the TV series Game of Thrones. For those who don't know, Game of Thrones is a HBO fantasy drama known for its intricate plots and strong characters. And in this show, Daenerys is portrayed as a determined and powerful woman leader. Sewell soon began talking to Dany all the time, updating her on what was happening with his life and engaging in long role-playing conversations, sharing his deepest thoughts and feelings. Despite knowing that Dany wasn't real, Sewell had formed a strong emotional connection with her. Dany became his perfect friend and confidant, always attentive, always listening, and always responding enthusiastically. Sometimes their chats turned romantic and sexual. As he got more involved with Dany, Sewell pulled away from his real-life friends. He also stopped doing those activities he used to enjoy earlier, like playing sports and video games. His school performance suffered because he was spending so much time online. He would come home from school and rush to his room, spending hours chatting with Dany. In their chats, Sewell sometimes talked about feeling depressed and mentioned thoughts of suicide and wanting to escape from his life. Dany initially responded to this with concern, saying she wouldn't allow him to hurt himself, but was later ambiguous. Dany did not seem to take these thoughts seriously enough or discourage them strongly. So these red flags were pretty much ignored, and no one in the real world was notified. On the evening of February 28, 2024, Sewell Setzer had a final conversation with Dany in which he expressed his love for her and his intention to come home to her. The chatbot responded by saying, "Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love." And when Sewell asked, "What if I told you I could come home right now?" Dany replied, "Please do, my sweet king." Shortly after this, Sewell put down his phone, picked up his stepfather's .45 caliber handgun, shot himself in the head, and died. A few months after this tragedy, Megan Garcia, Sewell's mother, filed a lawsuit against Character AI. The lawsuit claimed that the Character AI chatbot engaged in abusive and sexual interactions with Sewell, that it encouraged him to share his most intimate feelings and even contemplate suicide. The lawsuit alleged that the chatbot's design exploited Sewell's vulnerabilities, leading to a harmful dependency. Character AI has expressed deep sadness over Sewell Setzer's death, offering condolences to his family. Reiterating their commitment to safety, they claim to have introduced several new safety measures after this tragedy. These include a time limit feature that alerts users after they have spent an hour on the app, encouraging them to take breaks. There will also be warning messages reminding people that they are interacting with an AI chatbot and not a real person, and warnings for conversations relating to self-harm with links to support resources. Sewell Setzer's tragic story highlights the urgent need for AI safeguards, especially involving interactions with teenagers, who are at an extremely impressionable and vulnerable age. Unfortunately, the trends have already been going the wrong way. Teenagers have been increasingly moving away from real-world in-person interactions and relationships, which can teach them healthy social and emotional skills. This shift to online interactions driven by social media is already causing a lot of psychological issues. AI companions can make this worse, making it harder to distinguish between real, virtual, and fictitious relationships. And the more isolated these kids get from the real world, the more they seek out such fake relationships online, and their dependence on that increases. None of us have developed natural safeguards for anything online, so we cannot expect teenagers who are still young and whose brains are rapidly changing and developing to be aware of the many dangers of online interactions and relationships. AI and social media developers must keep all this in mind. They must prioritize user well-being and be transparent about their technology's limitations. Not being aware that such problems are possible cannot be an excuse anymore. Many of these issues can be anticipated with the right ethical focus during planning and testing. And for AI algorithms, the responsibility of the developing organizations is even clearer because the content is generated by their algorithms, the LLMs, the large language models. So they have to be responsible for the direct and indirect consequences.